of doing something in the interest of the nation. We are saying what you did at that time has put the nation in more mess economically. And therefore, because of the current economic situation we have found ourselves, that there is need for us to look at the details and to know whether they were rightly spent. But then there is somebody that must make a statement on this issue. Senate President Emeritus, dismissed Senator Ahmed Lawan. Just say a word so that we can go into the next issue.
Well, and you called me to speak, and of course something else happened, so I had to sit down. I have two issues to speak to. First of all, there is nothing that the National Assembly that makes laws on them that cannot look at them and consider them. If there were expenditures wrongly done in contradiction to the provisions of the Constitution, the National Assembly can look at the expenditures, and if sanctions are needed for unlawful or wrong or unauthorized expenditures, the National Assembly can provide the sanctions. That is one. Secondly, Mr. President, what the 9th National Assembly approved or ratified in terms of ways and means was not 29 or 30 trillion. It was 22, but there was 819 billion to attend to deal and address very serious infrastructural dilapidations that we had across the country. So it was not 30 trillion. It was 22, and then of course the one we had made it almost 23. So if we have a ways and means that is 30 today, that means something happened between then and now. And it's for the National Assembly to find out what happened. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, nobody in this chamber should suggest that we shouldn't look to anything that we feel is in the public interest. But let me say this very clearly. What Nigerians want today is food. What Nigerians want today is food and security. This belongs to the medium term or long term action that we need to take. How are we going to provide food for Nigerians and protect their lives tomorrow or from today? This report talks about it. Mr. President, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's consider it necessary to look at what happened in the past. But we are in the present, and the present is so unpleasant. And we have to act very, very swiftly. Thank you very much.
Even though the ways and means were part of the things that have put us where we are today, that we are saying that the expenses that were not explained, the expenses that we don't have details about, put us in the indebtedness that we are seeing today. The expenses that we don't have details put us in the indebtedness that we have today, and therefore has affected even the ability of government to provide essential needs and services for the public. That we need to look into those things. However, that what is facing us today is a current food situation, food crisis, immediate crisis. So we need to look at what we can do in the immediate to put food on the table of Nigerians. And that is the most emergency we have. And then the aspect of looking at what went on, whether ways and means, whether anchor borrowers program, whether intervention funds, whatever, those are things that constitutionally we are empowered to do, and we shall do so. And if we need to do so, we can agree here on how we are going to take care of those things. But let us look at this report and see the recommendations that can assist the federal government to bring the current food insecurity to a minimal level and then stop the discomfort. I think that's what we are looking at. So let's look at resolution 4.1. the recommendation here, and then we amend them into 3 parts. The first part will be the issue of oh, by the way, why we got to 30 trillion was because of the interest element. They brought that before this current Senate, that the interest had accrued on the 23 trillion that was passed by the 9th Senate, and that it was they needed additional approval of 7 trillion, which was the interest. So we passed the interest, and then that's what added to become 30 trillion. We appeal to the Deputy Senate President to stick to the issues here. We are talking about 30 trillion waste and means, not what President Tinubu can bring. This Senate will not rubber stamp anything that we feel is not in the interest of Nigerians. And that's the reason why we are discussing. Am I right or wrong? Those who are in support of what the Senate President is saying, say aye. Those against say nay. So the DSP, stick to the issue.
Now, okay.
Senator Ndume, you were there when the ways and means were approved.
I was not there. I was not there. But the Senate passed it. It was part of the parliament. Okay, sir. Check. I was not there. Check the record. And as I said, number one, wait now. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot approve illegality. What they did was illegal. The Senate doesn't have the right. Let it be on record. I was not there. I was not there. Check the record. I was not there, but you were there. But I was not there. I was not there. I was not there. Go and check the record.
Please sit down. Let me just give you a little bit of a guide. What the older senators who were in the last 9th Senate are saying is that the total amount of this 30 trillion were brought before them for approval so that the records could be set straight. But however, that they left the caveat that yes, we can approve this, but we want to see the details. And that up till now, the details have not been provided. That the only detail provided is the one contained in the 819 supplementary appropriation of 2022, which is the 819 billion, less than 1 trillion. So 29 trillion plus of this amount.
And in addition, Mr. Speaker, it's very important. This body, Senate, look at the Constitution. It has right of approval only. It doesn't have the right when money has been spent for you to rectify. We don't have the right to rectify. We only have the right to approve. Check the Constitution. This is a very serious matter. As the GS said, what this chamber approved was 819. And we said that the other monies that has been spent cumulatively to, was it 20-something trillion? That the details should be provided. It has never been provided to date. This committee or whatever should find out what happened to the money. And some people must be held responsible, or at least they should come and explain to this Senate what they did with the money. Now it's time that people are looking for their money anywhere. Where is that money? That should be the big question. Mr. President.